Welcome to Indian Clinical Radiological Physics Academy. Today's topic is Truebeam Interlocks. Why we choose this topic today was concern of the patient waiting period when machine is down due to any cause. This concern is because the patient may think anything about the machine during their waiting period. So before the site engineer reach, a physicist should be clear with what has happened with the machine and how to fix the issue. This is the main service screen. These tabs that you are seeing on the right side are the interlocks. One could see some of the tabs here are in orange. This means these interlocks tabs were received warning signal from the SPV. So if it is in red, then it indicates the active interlock. Today we are going to see only about the MLC interlocks. Here you can see the leaf assembly. It has a motor, spring, it has a drive screw, T-nut and actuator for a secondary readout. The motor is connected with the drive screw through the coupler, and the drive screw is connected with the leaf. Now let's move into the topic. Basically, whenever the interlock comes, Truebeam will give plenty of information about the issue, like interlock key, which gives the information about the involving nodes and subnodes, interlock ID, interlock description, and suggestion on how to clear that interlock. Here you can see the call interlock in the treatment application, which is related to the MLC leaf. Now if we log into the service screen, we can see MLC tab red in color. So now we shall see what are all the possibilities of action we as a physicist take related to the MLC interlock. Whenever the interlock comes, the first thing comes into mind is the MLC motor. But it is not always necessary that the motor needs to be replaced. So one should investigate and find out what is the exact issue. So for that, first we have to rotate the gantry to 180 degree and we have to close the jaws completely, and then we have to remove the collimator cover, and then we have to remove the collimator facet. Once you remove the collimator facet, you can see the manual controller of MLC through which you can move the MLC leaves manually, and you can also move the carriage manually. This is the MLC manual controller, and here you can select which bank. So if the interlock comes in bank A, you have to select the side A. If it comes in the bank B, you have to select the side B. And also you have to select the MLC leaf due to which the interlock has raised. From here on, there is going to be a two-step investigation. First, you have to move the MLC manually. If the leaf is moving manually, then you are supposed to change the motor. However, just performing the MLC initialization might fix the issue at a time, but the same MLC leaf stuck would occur in the future. The second thing is, if the leaf is not moving and it has a free motion of in and out, when you dab the leaf by finger, then most probable situation there is going to be a T-nut problem. Now we will see how to replace the MLC motor. So first we have to retract the carriage completely so that we can easily access the motor area, and then we have to turn up the MLC power supply after retracting the carriage. Then you have to remove the MLC cover. Now in this picture you can see the MLC motors on the centers and its connectors on the sides. This is the MLC plate which has the location of the motors and its connectors. Now we have to determine the location of the motors and its connector using these MLC plates. So first we will identify the location of the connector and we have to remove the connector. After removing the connector, we have to track the motor and unscrew the bolt as shown in the picture, and then we have to remove the old motor and we have to replace it with the new motor. Setting the new motor, you have to feel the spring. That means the MLC motor is properly fits with the drive screw. After that, put back the screw and connect the new motor to the panel and put back the MLC cover. Now switch on the MLC power supply and try to manually move the same MLC. It should work. Then you have to do MLC calibration. So you have to go to the service mode and then open the MLC tab and then click initialization. In initialization window, the calibration option will be locked. So you have to first unlock it and then you have to start the calibration. Once the calibration is over, you have to do save configuration so that the collimator node is updated with primary and secondary sensor new counts or values. After this, perform the MLC auto cycle to do the MLC mechanical versus optical check. This is about T-nut replacement. Here again two things are there. One, the T-nut replacement of even leaf which has no real issues, but if the hard leaves, then one has to lift the whole carriage to replace the T-nut. Now we will see the even leaf T-nut replacement. This is the soft part and it's nothing but a potentiometer having a track line for each MLC leaves that are attached with the leaf actuator. Now remove the screws on the soft part and lift the soft part, and you will see the all even number MLCs with actuator, and then remove the actuator of the stuck MLC. Now slowly remove the MLC by holding at the tip. Before removing the MLC, make sure that the opposite carriage is retracted fully. While removing the MLC, you must collect the broken piece of T-nut. Once removed, replace the T-nut and put back the MLC in the same slot of the carriage, and then fix the actuator. Now you have to fix the soft part. and try to manually move the MLC, and it should work. Then do the calibration and then save the new values and then perform MLC auto cycle. This is about T-nut replacement of odd number leaf. First we have to remove the carriage secondary feedback strip and then MLC secondary feedback PCB. Now we have to loosen the carriage for lifting. So we have to remove these 8 screws on top of the carriage, and then we have to remove the bolts holding the carriage to the secondary rail. Finally we have to remove the 3 bolts holding the driving arm to the carriage. But either one of the screw should be there to hold the carriage. Attaching the supporting device, that final screw has to be unscrewed. This is the lifting fixture which is used to lift the carriage. Now attach the lifting fixture with the carriage and lift the carriage. Once you lift the carriage, you can easily access the sub part. Then you have to perform the same T-nut replacement procedure of even leaf MLC. Do the calibration, store the new values and perform auto cycle. And finally place the collimator phaser and then collimator cover. That's all for today. Again I will come up with another presentation. Thank you so much.